Hello. Well, it had to happen. After the V20, I skipped the V30, went to the V35, V40, and now we have the LG V50 ThinQ. And this one is the 5G phone that this one particularly came from the US and was an ex-carrier phone. So it's cost me around $350, I think, with tax now that you have to pay on eBay. So it was maybe $360, something like that. Then you have to add on obviously the shipping from Aramex to here. So let me just give you a rundown of the specs. So it's a 6-inch Full HD plus screen. The cameras, because I keep forgetting about the cameras when I'm doing a review, and it's 12 megapixel, 16 megapixel have wide angle, and it has dual selfie cameras, which are 8 and 5. This has the Snapdragon 855 and the 6 GB of RAM. Fingerprint scanner, obviously, and USB-C headphone jack, which we've come to appreciate from all LG phones. This one has the quad DAC, so for those of us who like to hear our music loud through the wired earphones, pretty much this phone does it all for you. And for $360, you really do get a really decent piece of kit. Now, it's not much different looking from the V40. I think the back is different. It's very shiny and it is very slippery. So one had to spend more money to buy a case from souk.com because it really is very slippery. And although it has Corning Gorilla Glass on it, I don't want to drop it. So, of course, this being 5G and STC having advertising their 5G network, you can sign up for 1 month's free, which I did, and I'm just going to do a speed test here. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it is absolutely mind-blowing, okay, but the most important part, certainly for me, was when I was doing it in my house. So I'm just doing a speed test here. When I was doing it in my apartment, and I have Mobile 4G router Wi-Fi for my home internet, and I'm never particularly happy with it. So with doing the 5G speed test at home, it was almost nearly all the time double the speed of Mobile. So I'm definitely going to look into STC 5G and 5G router for my home setup, because it really is, for me, definitely worth it. And from what I could see on the STC website, it was the same price. I'm paying Mobile Unlimited 350 Rials a month, and the STC 5G, you have to buy a separate router, of course, but the actual package Unlimited is the same price. So here you can see that score, 49 Mbps, so it's pretty decent, okay, and it's more than enough for at work. So I really can't complain that much about it. Now, I'm not sure what kind of speeds that STC are advertising. Look, it's more probably to do with this is like a really good 4G LTE speed rather than a 5G speed. So I don't know, but anyway, that speed is better, and if it's not going to cost much more money, then I mean, it's certainly worthwhile looking at. One of the things that I did notice, and this happened to me yesterday when Aramex were trying to call me, they said that there was, even though I'm getting a strong signal around about where I was, they were saying that my phone was off, and I've noticed that a couple of times, and I'd went into settings, and I'd originally had my settings on 5G, 4G, and then I put it to recommended, which was automatic, which means it switches whatever tower it's getting the best signal from, or whatever it is, it will switch to 4G, back to 5G, 4G. But I did notice that so there's a couple of times people have said they've tried to call me and they couldn't. So it's something to be thinking about if you're looking at 5G. And of course it's still early days yet, and there's not that many 5G phones available in Saudi, and the ones that are still quite expensive. You're looking at Samsung and Huawei, but this year there's going to be a plethora of 5G phones, and a lot of them are getting cheaper. Certainly the cheapest one that I could see online now was a Xiaomi Mi Mix 3 5G, and it was around about $300 odd. So I'm not sure if that phone is here yet, but it certainly I could see it on eBay. So there's going to be a lot more 5G phones available, and they're going to be cheaper. So it's kind of like just watch this and see. But really, do I need 5G at the moment on my phone? No, as long as I'm getting a decent enough 4G, I'm happy enough. But it's interesting, and I wanted to get this phone because I really wanted to kind of finish off my V50 obsession, my LG V obsession, V series obsession with the V50. So, okay, so what did I do for you? Right, so I did Antutu, and no big surprises there. Actually, I thought it might be a wee bit more faster than that, but 347,000. I mean, that's fast. But I thought it might have been a wee bit faster. But anyway, I certainly, when you're using this phone, you'll notice absolutely no glitches, nothing at all. I mean, it's a pretty fabulous phone, and it's a good chunk. I mean, it's not heavy, but it feels in your hand, and I suppose without the cover, I mean, it does feel like something in your hand. I mean, it feels nice. So, it's just been really pretty easy to use, and pretty much a joy to use. I have really enjoyed it. This is probably going to go because I really wanted to see it, and I just wanted it for my own kind of benefit. I wanted to see what was the 5G happening around, and at least it's helped me look at the fact that I can get 5G for my apartment. So certainly it's been worth the experiment. So I'm hoping that this phone will be sold, and it will then go on to finance whatever my next phone is, which is on the way to me as we speak at this moment. Camera wise, I really rate all the LG that I've used. All their cameras have been really good, and this is certainly no different. Got a really nice wide angle camera. Video, I think, is excellent. The sound from recorded from voice, whatever, I think is really decent as well. Actually, I mean, the V40 or this one is really anybody would ever need if you were a vlogger, making YouTube videos, videos for Instagram, etc. And you can go obviously with the external. Connecting an external mic just to really make your sound a bit more professional, unlike me. And I have 2 external mics, but they're in my drawer, and look, my problem is I'm incredibly lazy, so I end up using the just microphone on whatever phone that I'm filming this video on. So one of these days I might get more professional. I doubt it though. This really, look, you want a mobile entertainment system for around that price, $350, which is what, 1,200 riyals, maybe a wee bit more than that. No, it's more than that. It's about 1,500 riyals, isn't it? 1500 reals, you get 5G, you get 128 GB of internal storage, and it takes an SD card. You really have everything for gaming. Excellent. The 855 and is going to really, for games, you're going to have no problems at all. It's a great screen. It's bright as heck. I'm always having it on pretty much the lowest setting, and certainly at night if you're looking, if I'm scrolling through stuff at night, oh my god, and you know, you're going to burn your retinas if you do not turn the brightness down. So all your music on here, a really good half decent pair of wired headphones. Even my the Sony not the Sony, that was what ones I was going to buy, the AirPod Pro that I bought, the sound is really good from then. I had no problems with pairing, and I don't think I've mentioned this before, but this one here, Assistant Trigger, and it gives you some control of the functionality of your AirPods, not full control, but I do use the iPhone SE at home just in case I need to like fiddle about with something, and it's usually to do with the noise cancellation. Sometimes it just disappears, but anyway, I digress. This phone really has everything for the multimedia person and the person who wants to use it as a real on-the-go video camera, making videos for your channels. Really, I think it's a really brilliant phone. And then if you look at, if you're in another country where 5G is a bit more established, you're getting 5G on top of that. I mean, it's a pretty good all-round package. Now, I know here in Saudi the LG is not that popular, but there's definitely fans of the V series. So I'm hoping that one of them will be the one that will take this phone off me, so that I can afford my next purchase. So what else to tell you? Okay, so one of the things I wouldn't say is that brilliant on it is the speaker. I think it's a mono speaker. It's not that loud, and even when it is loud, it's not that great. You know, it's not a deal breaker for me because rarely am I using it for anything. Only the occasional, I suppose, Facebook video of something on, or occasional YouTube. I'm using the speaker, but it's definitely not the best that I have heard, which is a wee bit of a shame, I suppose. If they'd made a bit slightly better effort with that, maybe had stereo speakers, would be a real, you know, kind of icing on the cake, so to speak. But for me, I'm not really that bothered. So anything else? I don't really think I've got anything else to report about it. I'm a fan of LG. I'll be interested to see what their V60 will be like, and I really fancy getting either a V series or the G8 or G8X with it has the extra screen cover. I really fancy that. Now, I did see last night, I was reading a magazine, and there's a company, and it's called Castaway, and they're doing a universal cover which gives you an extra screen. So I don't know if it pairs by Bluetooth. I think it was on Indiegogo, and I think they've made their the amount of money they were asking for. So from what I could remember, it might be out this summer. So Castaway, they're doing so it should, I suppose, fit most phones, but it was the same idea, having this dual screen, something to maybe to look into. But yeah, I do fancy getting maybe the latest G one with that, but I don't know if I'll ever have the money to do it. who knows? I'll keep my eye open for something second-hand, which is what I do all the time. I mean, rarely am I buying something new. The phone that is replacing this one is new, and you'll see that review whenever the thing comes. But that was just a birthday treat for myself, my birthday this month, so happy birthday to me. Now, the only other thing I want to finish off with is I thought I would give Edge, the new app from, it's not new, it's the updated Microsoft Edge, and this one is based on Chromium, so it's more like Chrome, and look, it's not giving you much that is you're not getting on any other kind of browser, but at least it's better than the old Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer, whatever. So one can't complain about it. It's alright, works pretty nifty, and I didn't have any problems with it. So yeah, that is my LG V50 ThinQ review. It's a brilliant phone, and if you can get it at the price that I paid or even less, and I'm sure over the next few months it'll be coming down. I think this is X-Sprint, if I can remember, either Sprint or AT&T. So you can get unlocked, then around about $300. Really, you're not going to find a better phone anywhere. It's fast, it's got everything that you will need, and it's got slight future proofing with the 5G. Any questions, whatever, I'll do my best to answer them in somewhat of a timely fashion. That's it. Bye.